Hello everyone, it is Briximus Builder back for another LEGO set review. I apologize, I haven't really been uploading a whole lot of reviews, but now that it's 2023, I do want to do a whole lot more reviews, so hopefully I'll be able to get some of those out because I do want to get out more content for you guys, but at least I am starting off the new year with my top 22 LEGO sets of 2022. So let's just get right on into that by starting with the honorable mentions. Basically, these were just ones that just barely missed the top 22. First off, we have the Marvel mech set of Wolverine. I really like the mech sets, and this was especially my favorite one out of all of them. I also liked ObiWan Kenobi's Starfighter. That's definitely one I've been wanting to get. Now I have an Obi-Wan and an Anakin. I also liked the Lego Technic Batmobile. And overall, that's really it for the honorable mentions, but I did want to mention for number 22, there is a couple of more honorable mentions I wanted to talk about. Number 22 is the Batcave. I really like the Batcave. The Batmobiles and the motorcycles are all honorable mentions. Don't get me wrong, I liked all of them, and I love how they integrate them into the Batcave, and how the Batcave itself is a very nice build. And also, I like how the Batcave has just all those classic elements of every Batcave that we've always had. It's got a place to store the Batmobile, which I really appreciate. It's got all the computers, all the screens, even got that little detective work thing with the magnifying glass. And also, I want to thank everybody for having that one Lego Batman review that I did of all the sets put together. You guys have made it my best review that I've ever done, even more so than all my action figure reviews on the main channel. So thank you all very much for that, by the way. And now moving on to number 21, we have the Star Wars Elite Collector Series, I guess, Boba Fett bust. I did manage to get this year. That is another thing I should also mention. Not all these LEGO sets had released this year. They're just ones that I personally got. And I like them, and I love Boba Fett. Boba Fett's one of my favorite Star Wars characters in general, so this bust was very nice to get. But not just that, I got it for free because it was in my big Brickslopes haul video. I showed off a bunch of free Lego that I got from Brickslopes, and that was one of those sets. So I really appreciate being able to get it. Now, moving on to number 20, we have the Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi series, Obi-Wan versus Darth Vader duel set. My main problem with this set is that it's a little overpriced for what it is. I mean, it was like, what, 40, 50 bucks. This is probably a good like $25, $30, maybe a $30 set at most. But overall, I do love a lot of the play features, like the rotating base and the little fiery effect that comes out of the ground, and the minifigures are nice, especially that Ned B droid, but the overall really comes down to price. Like, even though I like putting it together and the build itself and I always like it, but it always comes down to price. Now, moving on to number 19, we have the LEGO Speed Champions Audi. Oh, I can't remember the name of it, but basically it's this one, and this was another LEGO set that I also got from Brickslopes, and you obviously cannot go wrong with Speed Champions. Their cars are always nice, they're detailed, they look very much like their actual car counterparts, and this is just another one of those that I happened to get for free. And now moving on to number 18, we have the LEGO Hidden Side Shrimp Boat. This was a set that I missed out on in that first wave of Hidden Side sets. I like LEGO original themes, and I really miss, and I'm a little sad that they're kind of underperforming with LEGO's budgeting and all that, and so I like getting this one, and again, Hidden Side was just one of those themes that I'm sad and just died off really quietly, but I loved all the Ghost minifigures, and this was no exception. The boat itself is nice, and it comes with all the Ghost minifigures. The little rock thing is a little weird. It's a little rocky, I guess you could say. Anyway, but overall, this is just another set that I liked. It just didn't end up very high on the list, because, again, I don't like it as much as other sets, which I just really, really love. Now moving on to number 17, we go back to Speed Champions again with the Fast and Furious Dom's Dodge Charger, and I love how this thing looks. It looks very accurate because we did get that one other Speed Champions Dodge, which again was based on this car, but the only thing is that it was back in the day when they had the 4-stud wide cars. Or sorry, the 6-stud wide cars, but now that they've been upgraded to 8 studs wide, it was very nice to get this one, especially with the fully detailed interior and that sleek, slick black exterior. And now moving on to number 16, we have the Same thing, Speed Champions, but only this time it's the Aston Martin from, from James Bond 007, and I really, really love the Aston Martin. Again, very nicely detailed interior and exterior, and I love the overall silver pieces and the gray and that slick, curvy design of the Aston Martin is portrayed very well in minifigure scale. And now getting into number 15, we have the Star Wars, The Mandalorian, I guess this is Book of Boba Fett actually, Mando's N1 Starfighter. And now this set I didn't like as much as other ones because it is a little too big and it was overpriced. And I'm assuming LEGO made it a little overpriced on purpose for its price for piece because just because it's Mandalorian, they're thinking like, oh, it's gonna sell no matter what. So part of me was kind of mad that they didn't do it, that I didn't even buy it. But then I saw this at Costco, and Costco had it for like $15 cheaper, and so that made me feel a lot better about getting it. And overall, it's a nice ship. It's just a little too big. And now getting into number 14, we have the Star Wars, I guess, Ultimate Collector Series Dagobah training set where it has Yoda's little hut. I love how this one was portrayed. I especially love the water. It reminds me a lot of the Ninjago City docks and the Ninjago City, how they have the water areas and how it's like layered. The same thing is built here, only it's like that swampy green water. And overall, I think Yoda's hut was done well. I just think it should have been just a teeny bit bigger just so we got a little more interior because there were a lot of scenes in The Empire Strikes Back, where it was Luke and Yoda talking to each other in the hut, and I feel like there's not enough room to actually do that inside of it, but overall, I think it's fine for what it is. And now getting into number 13, we have the Star Wars Disney Plus Andor, what the heck was this thing called? The something gunship ambush, I guess? I don't know. It's basically, it's just this like gunship thing that those police guys use, and I really, really love this thing. Like, it looks a lot like a clone gunship, only it's done in that like Imperial plain gray. And it's made of this like Technic build that's like really, really sturdy. I accidentally dropped the build at one point and the whole thing stayed put together. Like, I love how much structure and how stable this thing is. And then as an added bonus, you get a nice little speeder bike with Andor and Luthen, and then you also get the police guy. The only thing I feel like this set is missing is more of those police guys in the blue costumes. I'm hoping they make a battle pack later that has more of those guys in the blue outfits, so I can fill up this ship. And now moving on to number 12, we have the LEGO Ideas promotional set of the sailboat. I missed out on this promotion. I think you had to buy like $200 of like some kind of Lego in order to get this set. And obviously I couldn't afford that at the time. So while I was at Brickslopes, I managed to buy this off a guy for like $30. So thankfully I bought it for its price for piece range. So that's pretty good. And overall the sailboat itself is built really well. I love the big sail. It comes with the dolphins. And again, there's a lot of pieces here that are also pretty valuable and very useful. And now moving on to number 11, we have the Star Wars ObiWan Kenobi series Inquisitor Scythe. And I really like how this thing looks a lot like Director Krennic's Imperial Shuttle, and I loved how his Imperial Shuttle looked, only this one has the shorter wings. It's missing that middle top fin, but overall I love that black, sleek, and exterior, and it's got the boarding ramp, which is always nice because I feel like on some sets they always cheap out on not putting boarding ramps on. And then I also appreciate how much interior there is and how it's easy to access. So again, it's a very nice vehicle playset. And now getting into number 10, we have the Star Wars, the Book of Boba Fett, Boba Fett's Throne Room. Obviously, this is repurposed from a Jabba's Palace type build. And overall, I love how this Jabba's Palace styled build went out. I also love that subtle little play feature of being able to kill Bib Fortuna by having him fall out of the throne. And the Boba Fett minifigure is great. I like Fennec Shand. I like her hairpiece. And I also like that Quarren minifigure. Again, the minifigure selection here is also really nice, though I feel like we should have gotten a second Gamorrean guard. But overall, I like this Jabba's Palace design. And now going over number 9, we have the Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order BD-1. Now, I love BD1. This thing looks adorable. It's nice. It's big, and I believe it's actually to scale to the actual BD1 that appears in the game. Like it's to scale to a person. The only thing that I really have to complain about this is it's not really a complaint about the set itself. It's more that I'm mad that this is the only Jedi Fallen Order set that we have gotten. I'm mad that this is the only thing that we have when LEGO really should have been making like a Mantis and maybe even some locations with boss fights and like a Cal Kestis minifigure. Like, I'm mad that this is the only thing that we've gotten, but overall, I think the set itself is really good. And now going over number 8, this is a bit of a nostalgic set for me. This is the LEGO Alien Conquest tripod invader or whatever it's called. It's the old tripod mech thingy from Alien Conquest. I happened to find this at Briximus. It wasn't sealed in the box, but all the bags that hold the pieces were sealed. And I managed to get this off the guy for like, I think it was like 25 bucks. So considering that that was the original price and I got it for the original price, and Alien Conquest sets have a huge aftermarket, growth in their value, I'm really happy I was able to get this thing, especially since it was one of those Alien Conquest sets that I really wanted, but I missed out on. The minifigures are nice, and it was an enjoyable build. Even though it didn't come with a whole lot of pieces, one of the things I wanted to mention about all these sets on this list is they were all enjoyable builds. I loved putting them together. Now, moving on to the number 7, we have the Star Wars, Clone Wars ATTE, the clone tank, and overall I love how this ATTE turned out. I had an action figure version of this when I was younger, and I'd play around with it a lot, and so getting the LEGO version, and this is my first time getting the LEGO version, sadly I didn't grow up on that really awesome original one, but overall this one's really good. I like how much interior there is. I like how there's enough space in here to put in all the clones that are included, as well as extra space for even more clones, kind of encouraging you being able to get more clones to really go all out with the play features on this. And overall, I think it's good. I just think the only thing that's a little weird is the leg. Sometimes the janky legs are a little hard to work with when I'm moving them around, as well as the guns and everything. But I appreciate how sturdy it is with all the LEGO Technic builds, and also the minifigure selection's great. And now moving on to number 6, we have the Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker Millennium Falcon. Surprising to a lot of people, this is actually my first Millennium Falcon I have ever had in the collection. And so finally being able to get one, and it's so far the most updated, and in most people's eyes, it is the most accurate and best model so far. Again, there are some older ones that some people consider better because they felt more playable, but what I appreciate about this is how this one is really sturdy. I can hold it with one hand and shake it around and whoosh it around like as if I was a little kid, and it doesn't fall apart. I love the minifigure selection. It wasn't from the best movie, but I still appreciate having a Millennium Falcon. And again, it looks just like the ones from the original trilogy, especially since it has the round radar dish instead of the square one. Again, going back to a nostalgic piece, this is the Lord of the Rings Wizard Duel, I believe is what it was called. It's the little black throne room scene where Saruman and Gandalf are fighting each other with their staffs. And this was a really awesome scene from Lord of the Rings, but then again, all of Lord of the Rings is an awesome scene. But overall, this was a set that I wanted to get when I was younger, and I wasn't able to get it, and then I was at Briximus, and I bought it off of a guy who was, well, I actually didn't buy it, I actually traded. The guy took a Lego, I had an extra completed Lego Thanos with all the Infinity Stones on a gauntlet, and he was willing to trade this for that because they were worth the same value. So I'm satisfied with the trade because, again, I've always wanted more LEGO Lord of the Rings sets because I did miss out on some of them. And this was one that I really wanted, and I'm really happy to finally have a Saruman, and I love Lord of the Rings. And also, again, just with that cherry on top is the Eye of Sauron piece. Love that. And now moving on to number 4, we have the LEGO Monkey Kid City of Lanterns. This LEGO set, in my eyes, represents every single reason why I like Monkey Kid. I love how the sets are bright, they're vibrant, they're very colorful, and they have so much variety of parts and build techniques. I love how diverse the minifigures are, and I always love all the hints and references, and it kind of has elements of Ninjago, the Lego movies, and just some of Lego's own, and it's just a culmination of all different kinds of reasons why I like Lego, and Monkey Kid kind of represents that in physical form. And what I also appreciate is I'm a big Ninjago guy, and I've always loved like Asian culture and all that, and so this set also really appeals to me in that kind of way as well. And I love how it looks a lot like my beloved Lego Ninjago city, and also again that cherry on top. This time around is that Lego store that they added in on the top. I see you, Lego. And now moving on to number 3, we have the Lego Marvel Ultimate Collector Series, Doctor Strange's Sanctum Sanctorum, the New York Sanctum. And again, I really like how this thing turned out. It's big, it's bulky. The only thing I feel like is a little bit underdone is the size. I feel like this thing should have been a teeny bit taller, maybe not a full floor, or maybe an extra floor. I don't know. It just feels a teeny bit short for what it is. Or maybe they should have added a whole garden on the roof, because I feel like there's a lot of roof detail that they missed that appeared inside of Infinity War when they traveled into the past and Hulk was talking to the Ancient One. And that too, the Ancient One is a minifigure that's missing from this. The one reason this set did not end up higher like as number 2 or number 1 is because I feel like it is lacking minifigures, where compared to the Daily Bugle, the Daily Bugle blows it out of the water when it comes to minifigures and its scale. But then again, the Daily Bugle is a building that's meant to be bigger, but I still feel like minifigures are a legit complaint. And now moving on to number 2, we have the Lego Ideas Medieval Blacksmiths House or Workshop. And this was the Lego set I got for my birthday this year, and I am very happy with how it turned out, and I've been happy with it constantly, non-stop. I do feel like it is lacking some minifigures, but thankfully throughout this entire year, Lego has been releasing all kinds of medieval minifigures and all kinds of minifigure series and minifigure packs, and I've been populating the whole thing with all kinds of Lego minifigures that I've collected from Lego medieval stuff, and it is just a showstopper piece. I love the colors, the build. Again, this was really fun to put together. And overall, this set really represents some of the reasons why I like Lego. But it just barely missed the mark compared to my number 1 set, which was the Lego Icons Optimus Prime. Now, the reason why the Optimus Prime is my number 1 set is, I'm pretty sure it should be obvious. I mean, my profile picture is a Lego Optimus Prime minifigure, and I love both Lego and Transformers equally. There's not really one that I like more over the other. I collect both of them really consistently. Transformers is really, really fun, and it was an action figure I grew up with as a kid, but I also was with Lego as a kid. I grew up with a lot of toys, like where they're really creative and get my mind working, and that was Transformers and Lego is what it boiled down to. And the Lego Optimus Prime, in my eyes, really represents that love of my childhood from both perspectives of Transformers and Lego, but it's culminated and put together as one whole package. Yes, the set was $170, but that did not stop me from buying it day one. And then about the set itself, not just my feelings for it, I think it is legitimately genius how they managed to get the Transformer of Optimus Prime, the big robot mode, to transform into a truck without taking anything apart. 99% of it not taking apart. And overall, I think the size, the accessories, and everything was really well put together, and you can clearly tell whoever designed it was a fan of Transformers. And that is really it for my list of 2022. So if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to give me a like on the video, comment down below what you guys think, subscribe to the channel for more LEGO set reviews, and again, go and check out my action figure main channel if you like. There's a link in the description. And overall, that's all I have to say. I'm going to work hard on getting new reviews out this year, and I'll catch you guys next time.